wellbeing coach, and my job role is to try and help people get a little bit more physically active, because this impacts hugely on physical and mental well-being. There's such a variation in what people can do. Some people, if I'm helping them to get a bit more active, it simply means being able to move about more in their home. For other people, it's because they would like to go to the gym, but actually that's a bit scary on your own. And so I can go along with them first of all and just get them, build their confidence up so they're happy to go on their own. So I can do all sorts of different things to help people get active, and walk and talk sessions, things like that. So it's really finding out what works for an individual, because there's no one size fits all, and it's seeing what would motivate somebody to get out there. So I get people from all sorts of different places, but mainly it's through GP surgeries. There are a variety of different people working here doing different jobs. There are quite a few challenges. Getting to us is one, because the transport is abysmal. We do have some good local transport companies, but they are limited as to what they can do. And of course, not everybody can walk to us. We deal with a lot of people with mobility issues, so it can be a struggle. Fortunately, with my job role, I can meet people elsewhere. I can do home visits. I can go and meet somewhere that's a little closer to their home so that they feel comfortable there as well. Because the other thing is people coming somewhere that they don't know, and that's a challenge for them, because particularly if they're lacking in motivation to get out and do things, if they're finding it hard to do that, then that's another big step, to go somewhere, meet someone that you've never met before and go somewhere that you've never been. It can be a bit too much. So that's certainly some of the challenges, and the cost of getting here. It is one of the biggest challenges, is just to get people motivated to do something. And particularly after COVID, a lot of people got used to not going out and about. You know, you stayed home because you were safe. And so to change that mentality and get people to build up the confidence to get out and do things again has been quite difficult with some people, particularly if they've got lots of other issues, things going on, which many people will have. You know, financial, home, physical, mental. All these things all build up to stop people getting out and doing things that would actually help them feel better. Another of the challenges, I guess, is finding activities that people can afford to do, which is probably one of the biggest challenges, because even with a GP referral, a leisure centre is still not going to be free. It's still going to be a chunk of money that somebody might feel they either just don't have, or it has to go on basics, food, electricity. So it's trying to find things that people can engage with, that they can afford, that they would enjoy, so that they will keep going. That can be quite difficult. I can do certain things with them. If I do a walk and talk, they don't pay for it. But of course, that's not for everybody. So to actually find things, I have people who say, I'd like to go swimming, but I can't afford to go swimming. I suppose that things that stop me doing more in my job are probably simply because there's only one of me and only so many hours in a day and in a week. And it has been a little bit about making sure that people know about me, which I've managed to do a little bit more now, because otherwise you feel that there are lots of people that you could help, but that they're not aware that I'm here to do what I'm doing and help them get more active. So I think those are the things, and it's really difficult to prioritise your own physical well-being if you're trying to support your family, look after your kids, and make sure you're not going into debt. You know, it goes to the end of the line, doesn't it? It's however much people say, well, you need to look after yourself. Not everybody can really do that. And if you can't get out and do free things like go for a walk, it makes it much harder. And it's also finding places that people feel safe to walk. So that can have an impact. If you feel that where you live, you don't want to go out after it's dark because you don't know quite who's going to be out there, what you're going to be doing. You know, there's a lot goes on at the moment with trying to make women feel safer. Bristol's got quite an initiative going on with that, with This Girl Can. Another thing is for older people is finding places that if they do want to go for a walk, that maybe there are toilets. You know, and this has come up with a lot of people with parks and things, that they want access to a loo if they're going out, and probably a cup of tea. So it's putting all those things together. There's a lot of people who've been trying to work really hard on that, I think, around here, but it's still getting it to work through. And again, you've still got that bit where people have to have transport to get to the places where these activities feel safe for them to do.
It's a national competition, so we've got teams from London, we've got a team from Lincoln, we've got a team from South Shields, we've got a team from another one from London. One or two, I'm not even sure where they come from, but they're all over the country. I'm Danny Kite, chairman and head coach here at Bristol Indoor Bowls Club. Some while back we were invited to join the Bristol Active City Network. As far as I was concerned, this sport is something that everybody can play. Old, young, able, disabled, anybody can play this game. The one problem that we had over time was listening to the original meetings and the discussions that were going on. I had great difficulty in understanding how a private members club like ours would be able to fit in and help people do things. As the time has progressed and the number of meetings that I've gone to, listened to what other people have done, suddenly there was, I think some people might call it a light bulb moment, that I realised, yes, this is a network, this is going to help us. We are now part of something bigger. We're not sitting out here isolated on our own. We're part of a bigger group.
Or words to that effect.
One of the meetings that we had, mostly for me to try and understand how a private club could fit into this network, we were discussing various bits and pieces on the theory of change. How could this help? What can we do? How do we do it? Suddenly, it just sparked off that we realised that one of the other members of the group was a member of Bristol City Football Club, and we know that they've got a foundation for younger people. So I said to him, what context do you have with schools? Because we're interested in getting schools into playing our game. If we can get that, we open up the world to them. Okay, he now passed me on to a person within Bristol City Council who is a schools organiser. That person passed me on to another person who is actively trying to get our sport into schools, because we would love to run a schools tournament. Let's get it going. Let's get people in. It's okay, yes, you could argue that I'm being a commercial and I'm going to try and get more members for the club, but what's going to happen? We're going to get young people coming in and thoroughly enjoying themselves at this wonderful game that we call bowls.
See, some of the other coaches, they still train and they're just as good as they were, but my wrists, ankles, they won't handle it, and I'm scared of getting hurt now, whereas I never used to be. Yeah, I'll show you what's done. Run Brunel Fitness Centre, City of Bristol Gymnastics Centre, and also we hire out a few school sites in the evening. They're all weather pitches, sports halls, things like that. Part of our contract is with the council, so that's why we're involved in the BACN network. Yeah. Okay, so I was in gymnastics from the age of 7. Worked my way up, competed at the Europeans a couple of times. When I came out of college, I went into car spraying, so totally came away from sport and everything, but I realised that fitness I would do regardless whether I was getting paid for it or not, so I thought I might as well come into the industry. So I started personal training, worked at a few gyms, and then when I moved to active community engagement, managed to work my way up as management, and then coach from here left, I was able to take on the role, because with my gymnastics background, obviously I knew how a gym runs. We do a lot of good stuff, but it's all dotted around everywhere. No one knew what anyone else was doing. So obviously we had the Active City Network before COVID, and then the BACN network came in after COVID, so I've been involved in both of those. There is a bit of a difference now. It seems that we're working towards something, and there seems to be a lot more funding coming to be able to make us, and also funding that needs a lot of people behind it instead of just one different company and things like that. So people are, I think, a bit more committed this time. Last time, it started off with loads of people in the room and then just gradually filtered off. So I think people are, I think we need small little pockets of people doing what they do instead of trying to get involved in everything. So we are basically making sure that it's a sustainable thing, and then coming to us who are on the ground floor delivering everything, making it so that we can make it sustainable. The theory of change is really good, a really good basis, but it just takes so long to get something like that in place, and whether people actually use it or take from it, I don't know. Basically, we need a structure set up, we're putting stuff on, but it's not what the actual people want. So, with us, it is just literally, we try things. If it works, great. We're a massive fan of fail fast. So you try something. If it doesn't work, no one comes, you scrap that, you try something else. Obviously, if it starts getting popular and you're oversubscribing, then you put another one on, add-ons on things we know that already works, we're setting up a baby gym. Parents were saying they want something a bit more structured that they can come to every week, but it's not quite like preschool. You have to be there for every session. We're trialling that out in March. Obviously, parents are very vocal and will email feedback. They talk to the coaches. A lot of the coaches are mums already, so they're sitting at the swimming lessons and things like that, and they will come up and talk to us. Obviously, stay and play, they're in the cafe, so you can always go in the cafe and talk to parents if there's anything that we need to research.
And do you do that?
Yeah.
Does it,
all the time. Yeah.
Is that quite difficult? Initiating conversations?
No, they love talking about their kids.
Okay.
And that was when they said about preschool, and also realizing that parents don't know a lot that goes on in the gym and didn't understand a lot of the skills that they were doing and things. So they were asking us a lot of questions about what the progression was and everything. So now we do a little newsletter and just say what the kids are going to be working on this term, and that they can ask questions and maybe links to any preps or anything they can